Documents are files in InDesign. And just like any word processing program, each document contains pages. And in this lesson, we're going to learn about how to view and create your documents. And the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to open an existing document. And you can do this by going up to your menu bar and going to File, clicking on that, and going to Open. And when you click on Open, you're going to get a dialog box, and that's going to take you to your computer where you can go and you can browse on the left-hand side, pick where you want to find your file. And InDesign can open files that are in the InDesign format or files that are made in Quark Express, and some of the earlier PageMaker files can also be opened by InDesign. So for right now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on this big bold document, and you can tell it's an InDesign document by the fact that it's got that InDesign logo on it. And go ahead and hit open, and that goes ahead and opens your document. So now that you know how to open a file in InDesign, the next question is going to be, how do you create a file from scratch? And creating a file from scratch is done pretty much the same way. You just go up here to your File tab on your menu bar, click on that, come down to this first option, which is New, and over here you'll see this flyout menu that gives you the option to create a document, a book, a folio, or library. Now there's 4 options in InDesign Creative Cloud. The previous versions of InDesign only had 3 options, which was document, book, and library. And let's go ahead and let's create a new document. And when you create a new document, you click on that to get it going. You're going to get the settings dialog box. And in these settings, you have some options. You can choose a document preset, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a second. And then next you have this intent. What is your intention with the document? If you intend to make a document that will exist in the real world, something that's going to exist on a page or a piece of paper, you're going to go with print. And as you see, when you go with print, it's going to give you the option for a page size that's letter, legal, tabloid, or these other different settings. And that's because those are all either paper sizes or, in the case of down here, compact disc. They're things that exist in the real world and default settings for if you were using these different paper sizes. So that's what you get when you get print. Now if you come down here to web, you will see that when your intention is to create something for the web or a web page, your page size will change, and now your options are no longer paper sizes. You still have a letter or an A4, but mainly now you're getting these document sizes that are done in ratios and pixels. So a 600 by 300 page or a 640 by 480 page. And these are all kind of standard web page sizes. They're screen resolutions. So that's what you get when you change your intent. You change the setup of the page size to kind of standard for whatever you're doing. And the third option that you have in this particular intent is digital publishing. If you're looking to publish something for like a Kindle Fire or an iPad or something else, you will find the presets for those particular devices here under digital publishing. So we're going to go ahead and go back to print. Just for fun, let's go ahead and set our page size to legal, slightly bigger than a normal page, and let's change the orientation from portrait to landscape. And then if you come back up here, you have some options for how many pages you want in the document and what page number you want to start on. Just for fun, let's go ahead and put in 10 pages, and let's specify to InDesign that we want to start with page 2. Now the next question is this facing pages, and you can have this checked, or if you don't have facing pages, uncheck it. What are facing pages? Well, if you're creating a document that's going to be in a book format, where you open up the pages and the pages face each other, you have one on the left, one on the right, that's what a facing page is. So you specify whether your document is going to have facing pages right here in your document presets. Next, you have some options for number of columns. And if you know that on every page of your document you're going to want a 3-column layout, you go ahead and you specify that here by just using the up arrows to go to 3, or you could type 3 in directly. And then you can set up a gutter. which is the space between your columns. And you can set that up easily right here in your document settings. Couple final options. You have your margins. You can go ahead and specify your margins for the page right here in the document settings, and that will apply it to every page in your document. And then right here you have this thing called bleed and slug. And if you click on the arrow, it gives you a spot to go ahead and specify your bleed and your slug in the document. And if you don't want to see it, just go ahead and click that arrow again and it will disappear. Now, when you got all of your settings the way you want them, you have a couple of choices. You can go ahead and preview it. See right there. And if you're happy with the way the document looks, accept the settings by hitting OK. But before we do that, we want to do one little thing, and that's to come back up here to our document preset. And maybe this setup we like a lot, and we know that we're going to use it not only on this document, but we want to be able to use it on documents in the future. Well, instead of having to recreate and re-input all of these settings, we can make this really easy by coming over here to this little box next to the document presets, and it says Save Document Preset. If you click on that, then you get a dialog box, and it says Save Preset As, and we can say Landscape, and hit OK. And then we'll go ahead and hit OK. And now InDesign has created our new document, and you can see that it's calling it Untitled 1 by default. InDesign always calls the document that you create Untitled 1 by default, and the next document that you create after that will be Untitled 2, at least while it's open. And now if we come back up to File, and we go to New, and we go to Document, you can come here to Document Preset, and underneath Default you'll see Landscape. When you click on that, it brings back up those document settings, and when you say OK again, it created an Untitled 2 with the same document presets that you had on the previous document. Now, a couple of things to point out here is that right above the document you'll see Untitled 2, Untitled 1, and big bold. If you click on one of these tabs up here, they're tabs that allow you to navigate through different open windows in InDesign. So if you have more than one window open, you can easily navigate them by clicking on their tabs up here in the window. And if you have one that you want to close, just go over to the X on the right, click that, and it closes that tab for you, that window. Now in InDesign you can do more than just create a new document from scratch or open an old document. You can actually create new documents from a document template. And what a template is a pre-designed document that you can customize to your own liking and use as your own. And if you use the same design for documents or books over and over again, then it's really helpful to save the design as a template so that you can have some uniformity between your designs. And it just kind of goes beyond the whole concept of document settings to actually include layout within the document. Now, an example of the template is, right now we have this blank document. And this is the document that you're going to get when you create a new document using your document settings. Now, let's say that you know that you're going to use this style in all the documents that you're going to create for a particular newsletter, and you want them all to look consistently the same, not just in their basic column layout and margins, but also with the blue boxes and maybe the headline style. Well, to do this, you can easily just save this as a template, and then you'll be able to open this document exactly the way it is and make a couple of changes. So to do that, just save this as a template. And to do a save as template, you're going to go up to the menu bar, go under File again, and then go to Save As. You have choices. You can do Save, you can do Save As, and we're going to do Save As. And you get your standard Save dialog box, and that's where you can name your file, and we'll go ahead and give it a name. And then you have the Save As Type, and right now it's just a regular InDesign document. But below the regular document kind, you have an InDesign CC template option. And this is what you're going to pick to save it as a template. If you go with InDesign CC template, click on that, and then hit save, InDesign will save this file as a template. You can tell because it's now called Hijinks INDT instead of the regular INDD, which is InDesign document. And then if you close it, you come back up here to File, Open, you will find it under your list, and you can go ahead and open your template. Now, it may look exactly like another document to you, but as you can see when it opened, it didn't open Hijinks template, it opened Untitled 3. That's because when you make changes to this and you save it, you're not replacing the template document. And that's how to use templates in InDesign. Couple of quick things to mention before we leave this lesson. First of all, we talked about working with your document presets, but another place that you can actually define your presets without going into the new document settings box, you can do it by going up to your file menu and coming down here about 3/4 of the way to document presets. And here you have the ability to define a document preset or to pick a document preset. And when you pick one, it will create a new document based on that preset without going through the dialog box. But first, let's go up to define. You go into this document dialog box, and then you'll have the option to make a new document preset or edit one that's existing. If you go to the landscape preset and you hit edit, it will bring up that preset that we created earlier and show you all the options that you saved it as, and you'll have the ability to change those options if you want to. And if you go with new, it will bring up a new document preset, and you could set up a new document preset here. Maybe you'll go with 100 pages, and you can change the name here to anything you want. Hit OK, and it will now show up in your document preset window. And then if you want to create a new document, you'll see that it's set up to use that new document preset that you just defined. The other thing to mention is that you can actually change your document setup without going into your presets. And you can do this at any time by going up to the file on the menu bar and coming down here to document setup. You get basically your document presets, but you just get them in a dialog box that's easy to get into, and you can change your presets at any time. So if you decide 100 pages is way too much to work with, go down to 6, and you can change the start page to 1, and then you hit OK, and it will change your document settings. And what's important about this is when you use this method, it's not going to change it for your preset, so it won't apply to all future documents that you make. It'll apply just to this one document that you're working on. So File, Document Setup is where you go when you want to change up the specific setup for that particular document that you're working on. Next, I want to talk about the status bar. And the main thing to know about the status bar is that you come over here to this little arrow, downward facing arrow right there, and it says pre-flight menu. If you click on that, you're going to get these options. The first one is to bring up your pre-flight panel, which we'll be talking more about through this course. You've also got the ability to define your profiles, and you can decide whether you want to enable pre-flight for all of your documents and whether you want to pre-flight this particular document. So your options to do that are all down here in the status bar. And quickly we'll just click on that, and this is what your pre-flight panel looks like when you have it enlarged as a window. So if you want to enlarge your pre-flight panel, that's how you do it.